You know what? We'll go loading. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I wonder if it says I am at the start. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Moisky Live channel for another weekly political recap. 3 in a row, everyone. We're on an absolutely blinding run. Joining me to discuss possibly politics, although not much has gone on over here, maybe more over in America if we're lucky, is Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
How is it? Oh. There we go. I heard that. How is Trups?
I have had a shit tier week. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh, is any of it anything you can discuss, or?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I had made the post on Twitter basically. So there's if anybody here has cats.
Oh yeah, and I saw your post. F,
yeah,
by the way. Hope your cat's all right.
He's all right. He's back home now.
Good.
So male cats in particular can get this thing called struvite crystals, which is essentially like kidney stones.
Lovely.
And it can it can block their urinary tract, and this causes a major issue because, of course, not doing that, it poisons your body, and it can be fatal for cats.
Yeah.
And it's very typical for male cats, especially domestic short hairs and Maine Coons, apparently. So unfortunately, my poor boy, on his birthday, we had to take him to the emergency hospital to get his penis fixed.
What a lovely birthday gift. Really thoughtful, considered gift. And it, the real benefit here is it benefits his health.
Well, now that I have to feed him on this urinary diet for the rest of his life, I can at least say that the gift keeps on giving, because let's just say I hadn't done this, I would be sans a cat, and I'd be very, very sad.
A cat is not just a Christmas
after
all.
Birthday. Yeah, well, at least his birthday gift has told me how to keep him alive for more years.
That's actually really good. That's a good sign of responsibility for your future, I'm sure.
Yes. Now, I will tell you, suddenly having a $2,300 bill was shocking. Was shocking.
That's painful. Yes.
Well, luckily, my boy is back.
He's near you, isn't he?
What?
Is he near you?
He's downstairs, I think.
Okay.
He's following the lady around right now.
As long as he's better, that's all that matters.
He's back to being himself. So, huzzah! But that definitely added some gray hairs. Definitely took some years off my life this week.
I'm very sorry that's the case. However, it's good experience. Also, it's a great sign for you of everyone else thinks about you, because then they know the kind of person you are. You'll go the extra mile for even for cats that don't give a crap about you.
Yes, correct. And it does help for those who may also have male cats to keep aware that this may become a thing. So just keep an eye on them. If they ever seem like they're struggling to use the restroom, use the litter box, these things don't necessarily go away in time, and you should definitely take them to see a vet as soon as you can. Okay, so that's my
public service announcement.
Public service announcement and vet advice panel. Apparently,
it's much appreciated.
Yes, of course. But how is Omegon this week?
Obviously, as everyone knows, there was the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing. I was on Twitch when that happened, so I reacted live to it, and then I put that on my YouTube channel because I was like, no, you need to hear my actual organic response to it. I don't know how many times I could say the word cunt, but I said it a fair few times. We finished building today at midday, my sister's log cabin. We finished it. Roof and all. It's all done. She's decorated 2 rooms out of 3. The main one she won't be able to do till next week. The friend of the family, there's already a bed in there, which came from my cabin. some rugs. He's going to sleep in there tonight because, yes, there's a thunderstorm brewing over here. We're due storms all
Oh,
weekend.
me too.
Yay! Our periods are in sync as well, I'm sure. And it's my nephew's birthday on Sunday. We're having a party tomorrow for it. My niece on Monday, so we'll probably have that on Sunday. But we did most of the building work, and I am very burnt and very worn out. It's also, as everyone knows, been a bank holiday here. We don't usually have them on Thursday and Friday, but they are a special occasion. It is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. And
oh yes, I wanted to ask you about this.
And well, ask in a moment, of course. And so Thursday, Friday, I wasn't cleaning the bakery. And yeah, no, I did videos, but luckily, because I did a video very quickly on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard result, although I'm doing one on Monday about the fallout, because fuck me, the fallout, hilarious. I've been working on that cabin and very happy it's finished because, yeah, about bloody time really. We put a lot of effort in, and so we had a nice little victory sip of a mead horn. You know, filled the horn up with mead and had some of that, and it was good. Now I can, once that's done, I can then start working. I hung some guttering at the back of my cabin to finish off the guttering. Because she won't need it. My sister won't need it on hers. So I was like, well, I'll use it then. Cool. That's one thing I don't have to buy, which is great. It's just the electrics and internet I need mine, and mine's done. Well, the main room hasn't got any furniture and isn't finished really, but the office and restroom are the ones I need to focus on really. But we'll see. Beyond that, not much going on here. Just working and burning. I mean, I've got a lovely watch tan line and one around my rings as well, because I wear a couple rings.
Yes, like Johnny Depp.
No,
instruments by which to strike.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yes.
In that context, of course, that's exactly what they're for. I do like to make sure I keep the women in tow, because in check even, or in tow, whichever's easiest. The whammons must obey me. So my very small thumb ring is, of course, used to just poke them on the forehead, and the one on my middle finger, of course, is to crack them around the jaw, because it's made of titanium, so it won't bend.
Yes, of course. And, of course, break your own finger in the process, because that shit hurts. I don't know if anyone's actually ever punched anybody with rings on. It doesn't feel great.
Oh, I have. It
doesn't feel great, does it?
It does not, no. People think it's cathartic. I'm like, the only time it feels cathartic is if you're playfully slapping someone with it.
Yes.
But generally, when you're punching, it's the motion itself is very uncomfortable. It's why if you have anything on your hands, it's wraps. A wrap is the best thing you can have on your hand.
True.
It's from the amateur boxer. Hi.
Hi, amateur boxer.
Yay. Let's just not put rings on our hand.
Yeah, true.
Mine are decorative. It's fine. Because I'm just I'm a pirate. Yo ho ho. I battle around. Beyond that, not much going on. So you said you had a question.
Yeah. Okay. So this Platinum Jubilee, I keep hearing people talk about it. It sounds like, based on the reporting that I heard from my end, in the States, that this has been a grand old time.
Yes.
Like everyone's been having a great time, and I want to imagine that that's true.
So, let's go through a few bits. First of all, what is a Platinum Jubilee? A Platinum Jubilee is the 70th anniversary since the Queen ascended to the throne. It's 70 years. Now, she is now the third longest in history. She's only got to go 2 years, really, just to be the best. To be number one, Queen Elizabeth has to be 2 more years. Obviously, she's late 90s. This is touch and go. Most of the shops in my town, most of the town itself, many homes around here, in fact, have bunting, which is, for those who don't know, it's a string with loads of flags on it, like triangle ones. Think of it like a Christmas decoration. A lot of homes are bunting. My home doesn't really care, but I do respect the Queen a lot. I have always been very, not necessarily pro-royal, but I consider her a benefit to our country. So I don't consider her too much of a drain. I do consider the more recent yacht a waste of our money. but I'll let
Whose
that
yacht?
was the Queen,
The Williams?
the royal family have a yacht. Yes,
Ah.
they had one long ago, and of course they needed a new one because the old one was a bit rubbish. Yes, London has been a bit of a mess from what I have been told from others who've been in my chat on Twitch. The going through London hell because it's been
Oh,
so.
I'm sure.
But well, others have been very cynical and said, I don't care about the royal family. That's fine. You say that. But people needed a reason to have a 2-day holiday. Or essentially a 4-day for the weekend as well. A 4-day weekend. And people need that. They need that party. Because all this COVID crap has really... The moment we got put out of lockdown, people tried to go on holidays. It failed. And they blamed it on Brexit. And people tried it again. And yet again, people are getting stuck at airports again. But the 4-day weekend, if you just stayed at home or you just went into your town, you would have had more fun. Where I live, there isn't much going on in our town, but there is in Dover. They had some live music, they had some market stuff, and that's great news because it's getting people out of their homes, or because of the great weather we've had. We've had really, I mean, I am very burned on my very blue skin. I'm very burned, and
Oh yes, I
but
forgot about the blue screen. Yes.
but thankfully I tan, so it'll be a nice brown blue tomorrow. I tan very quickly, so it won't be an issue for me. But it's been very warm, very hot, very bright. The Jubilee, as far as weather goes, has been perfectly timed. It's just been very fortunate, really, that if you've seen some of the streets in London, that they are really into this. They want to celebrate it, and it is a big deal because there aren't many monarchs that survive that long. And maybe she isn't this leader of state or whatever, like a prime minister or a president. That's not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's our head of state, regardless. We are subject to the crown, and it's actually very impressive,
I think so, absolutely.
And as Joe said in the chat, it gets people to spend money, which is another thing.
Sure.
With inflation at 9%, we kind of need it. Like Amber Heard does after she got utterly fucked in the courts.
Indeed.
Her net worth now sits at minus 10 million.
And as her lawyer said, no, she cannot pay for it. Absolutely not.
Well, that's going to be interesting because isn't there a term for that? Where you
Bankrupt.
Bankruptcy is one, but if you don't obey a court mandate, what is that? It's called a crime, isn't it?
Why yes, it is.
Oh, interesting. I like the look of it. Her kid's about to grow up without a mother.
Well, that's horrible.
No, I'm kidding. I'm a dick, but I'm not that kind of dick. I obviously don't wish that on anyone. I hope she finds a way forward. As far as the Queen, her 70 years on the throne go, it's impressive. You can tell though the years are starting to really take their toll because she's 96, and she didn't do the Queen's speech this year. It was Prince Charles, who, by the way, I feel bad for him to be honest, because his mum, she's not showing any signs of slowing down. Right, well beyond less duties, she's still going. Prince Charles is in his isn't he 70? He's 73. By the time
up there.
By the time he gets on the throne, he'll get maybe 10 years before it goes to William, who is William's he's the same age as me, isn't he? He's 3 years older. He's 39. So the Queen ascended to the throne, I believe, when she was 26. Yeah, she was 26. So he'll never have a reign anywhere near as long as her. The only way to get another long reign would be put it on George, but that's not happening because George is too young. I just think it's very it is good for the country. What I found really interesting, really, though, and there are articles on this about Harry and Meghan turned up. They did go, great, but there was a bit of choreography here. See, the Queen had attempted to broker a peace between William and Harry. Problem is, William believes firmly in his country. He believes firmly in being a member of the royal family. That's what he believes in. Okay? However, Harry, he does not. He turned his back on this country. Everyone knows this. So they had to, because they've not made up, they have had to be ushered in at different times, with Harry and Meghan arriving at like 11:04, William and Kate arriving at 11:15. William and Kate left at 12:24, and Harry and Meghan left at 12:27. Their seats were on the opposite sides of, was it St. Paul's Cathedral? Is that where they do this? Whatever the cathedral is where they do this main bollocks. And yeah, they sat them really far apart. They didn't have anyone involved. But then they had people psychoanalyzing everything Harry did, saying, "Oh, he's only doing jokes as a coping mechanism for the pressure of what he's doing there." I'm sorry, he's just there as a fucking witness because his grandmother told him to fucking turn up. I bet she called him and said, "YOLO swag fam, get the fuck to England, you cunt." I'd love to hear the Queen say that.
Yeah, it's if you want anything at all from any inheritance that you might get sometime eventually,
get to fuck here.
Better show up.
Yeah. And yeah, so oh yeah, and here it is. It's Harry's jokey manner masks inner anxiety about his new status as a royal B-lister. I'm sorry, you're not a B-lister. A B-lister is someone. No. A B-lister is the person that the Queen decided no longer gets a royal title. You're still called Prince Harry, you fuck knuckle. He's an idiot.
No, I would have said no, not even that. The guy is still allowed there. Okay?
Yeah, he is. He is.
Which should be an indication to him that regardless of all the bullshit that he put them through, especially with his fucking psycho wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of those things, and she still said, "Hey, show up to this party."
Yeah.
Because we need to look like a goddamn family.
Problem with that is, and you have to be able to touch not notice this, every journalist who saw then Harry turn up was like, "Wait, Harry's here?" But the tension between him and the future King of England. Oh my god. By the way, there are some...
fucking Will?
Yeah, Will, yeah. It's like, that's not... No one cares. There was always going to be that... They used to be really close, yes. But there was always going to be the tension because Will was always going to go on the throne. Not Harry. Harry was always going to be relegated. Always. I just thought... he acts like the typical youngest child, okay? Fucking. Mm-hmm. There are some. I'll send you a link to it, and it's Daily Mail. You won't like it. It was, but there are some pictures of the bunting and people enjoying the celebrations together. Yes, okay, this is not all of the country, but it does show in some towns and some places. This is quite something. I'll give you an example of. So the bakery I do, they're not open on the bank holidays, which I find quite funny. But rather interestingly, they had fully decorated the bakery shop floor. Obviously, can't look back, obviously, ovens. The pub I clean, they haven't done the pub at all. No, they won't do that, because the owner is an idiot. He's a special kind of idiot. He'll only do it if he knows it'll make him money. To which I then had to remind him, it's a 4-day bank holiday weekend, you twat. He's like, oh yeah, I can make money out of this. Oh, maybe I should get some. And he only did it in the garden. Like, okay. People are going to really enjoy that, you dickhead. But yeah, it looks fantastic. It's good for the country, good for morale.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's fun. I think it's fun to watch because from an outsider looking in, like of course the Americans have denounced the monarchy hundreds of years ago. But that being said, hey, look, we've got somebody who is less fucking mentally there than your queen.
Our queen could knock your president out before the Secret Service had time to react.
I'm sure. And I'm pretty sure the Secret Service would be like, no, it's alright, go ahead.
It's only because our Grenadier Guard are like, they're terrifying, okay? I'm just saying.
Yes, I've seen them work.
Have you seen some of the, I've never seen this in my lifetime, but my dad has, because on his street they do this, where during certain celebrations, neighbours pull out all their tables into a row on that street, and they will decorate the street, and they essentially block their own street off, and they're like, you're not getting down here, fuck right off, because we're celebrating. That's what they do. I like that. I've never seen it here, though, because I live in a sort of a square cul-de-sac area, although there's a nice green outside, and they could use it, you know? I find that interesting. By the way, do you know why the Grenadier Guard wear red?
Is it to hide the blood of the enemy?
So hides their blood. Yes.
Was that right?
I think it is that. Yeah, to hide their blood. I remember watching some
Woohoo!
Grenadier Guard related, sort of like them talking about stuff, and they mentioned the red because of bleeding.
Yeah. It was also a joke in Deadpool. That's why I kind of guessed.
Yeah, they wear brown in the winter for obvious reasons.
Yes,
so
of course.
it's been very, very, very interesting. I think. Not, I mean, it is around here with older people. Younger people obviously don't care. A lot of younger people where I live don't have jobs anyway, so they're just like, I don't give a shit. Oh, you haven't got a job, so you don't really understand the responsibility. Oh, and you don't understand that, having days off because you've worked so much is good. Of course, I don't have days off, but I can. Other people, like the friend of the family who's been helping me with the cabin, he has tomorrow off. That's the first Saturday he's probably had off in months, and he's looking forward to it. We'll have a few drinks, we'll chill out. It'll be great. I got a glass right now. Actually, I'm gonna carry on drinking. But yeah, it's nice. It's good for the country morale. And I know there's a lot of anti-royal people in this country. I fully get it. Shut the fuck up. It's a 4-day weekend. That's what you need to take from this. Long may she reign.
Woohoo! All right. Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up because it looked like you guys were having a good time.
Yeah, a lot of people
Okay.
are. A lot of people are. Hell, we had a small barbecue here yesterday. And by that I mean it was cooked in the oven because some dickhead couldn't think to turn the barbecue on. But you know what? It's fine. I had some chicken. It was great.
Quite right. All right. Well, I guess we can move on to the next story. So in America, we had we did have another shooting
Oh.
recently.
So when you're
Yeah.
surrendering your guns, then.
Well, okay, so that's kind of the thing. So Biden,
I heard.
so, he made this long ass speech, and some of the things that he said were things like, "For God's sake, how much more carnage are we willing to accept? How many more innocent American lives must be taken away before we say enough's enough?" And so a lot of appeals to emotion. Um, he requested that we ban assault weapons and high capacity magazines.
Most of them banned anyway, unless special circumstances.
The assault rifle thing is not a real thing. The way that the real thing when they say assault weapon is, oh god, it's black and scary.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I took that two different ways, and I realized.
Yep.
The
Both are acceptable.
Yeah. I figured as much.
Yeah, black and scary rifle. Very, very scare.
I just want to insert something here. So I don't know how recent this is. I did see a tweet saying Planned Parenthood, hey, it's okay to have multiple abortions on May 27th. Now that tweet, in and of itself, not related to guns, okay? Underneath someone wrote, but it's the guns accompanying it's an image. Like, I think it's related to deaths by certain thing. Abortion, 500,000 essentially. It's a little bit over. Obesity, 140,000. Heart disease, 280,000. And then you've got like abortion. You've got her body, her choice. That's the meme next to it. Obesity, healthy at every size. Murder by gun, 5,276. OMG, what? We need gun control. And it's not a great analogy, but it's in our server, by the way. I find that quite interesting to show the statistics for how many people die of certain things. Like medical errors, 115,000. That's a lot of errors.
Yeah.
I don't know where these numbers come from or if they're true, but if let's hypothetically say it is true, the reaction might be slightly wrong here. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like my Nerf guns. I'm not surrendering them to anyone.
Well, yes, but so to get back in to the statements that Biden had made.
Yeah.
Yes. He also said if we can't ban assault weapons, then we should raise the age to purchase them from 18 to 21, which we did mention that last week. discussing at how the Ninth Circuit even actually called that unconstitutional. And then here's the one that's really, really interesting. Strengthen background checks. Okay, so fun story. Joe Biden should know very well about how criminals often will skirt the rules when it comes to background checks, because his son did it. I'm trying to find. Here it is. So Hunter Biden lied on a Form 4473 to illegally purchase a felony because I believe that he said that he has never consumed illicit drugs.
I want to add something to this.
Okay.
What state is Biden from?
Delaware.
Delaware is the 5th easiest state to purchase a gun. You must be 18 to be able to purchase rifles and shotguns, 21 for handguns.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for the...
it's listed as the 5th easiest state. I literally Googled Delaware just now, and you've got also state Democrats unveil slew of gun control bills. So they are going to clamp down in Delaware. Just thought I'd insert that it's the 5th easiest.
Yeah, it's quite.
As you were.
Now, yes, so strengthening background checks, yes, of course, that totally is going to work, because clearly we can see them working already, obviously. Nobody has ever skirted the rules for background checks, especially not the president's own son.
Are we allowed to say ill things about Hunter Biden without getting yeeted anymore? Because I know YouTube get a bit funny about that, don't they?
Sure. Well, I have the scan of his thing.
Oh.
Of the of his 4473.
Oh really? Oh
yeah,
please, I'd love to see that. Let's see that.
Yeah, I posted.
Oh well, that's okay. Well, that answers that.
So I mean, they can try to take you offline, but I mean, the important data is taken away here. It's his name, location.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to show that picture just for the sake of it. I just wanted to see if my own personal...
If you want to see it, I retweeted it on my Twitter.
Twitter.com/Trups, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it TrupsLP?
TrupsLP. It's TrupsLP. Yeah, it's straight up TrupsLP. So yeah. So that was one of the things that he wanted to do. Strengthening background checks, yes.
Raise the gun thing all to 21.
Yeah, okay, so that's an interesting thought, because a lot of states actually have where handguns...
Yeah, I mentioned Delaware just then.
Right, yes. New Jersey and I was going to say New York, but New York you have to basically be you have to have a very, very specific lifestyle in order to... when they ask you, like, why do you need a gun, you have to be able to provide them with, let's just say, I run a jewelry store and I carry things that people would want to rob, and so for self-protection I would want to have a weapon. That would be an instance of something that they would be like, yeah, sure, here you go. They would probably approve you on. But New York is famously difficult to get any to get firearms.
Oh, is it?
Yes, a lot of the North actually is. Besides Pennsylvania and Delaware, they are easier than
what about
New Jersey.
Isn't Montana in the north?
Yes, that's Western North.
Oh, not the same north. Okay.
Yes, yeah, I'm talking like the Northeast, where apparently everyone has to stick up their ass. If you go full on Northwest, that's like Washington and Oregon. So like they too have sticks up their ass. Just a different stick. But yeah, so he goes on I mean, he had this long ass speech about it, and one of the things I wanted to touch on was people often talk about restricting guns based on mental health.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, what mental illness shouldn't have access to firearms?
I thought this might be a trick question.
No. It's this is not the trick question part. Um, this is the reasonable question. I mean, for example, like I would say
It's psychosis.
something like manic bipolar, perhaps.
Alzheimer's?
Yeah, that would probably be a
Dementia?
good way.
Schizophrenic?
Yep, I would agree.
Any form of
Um,
psychosis?
yeah. Just maybe a dissociation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what,
Yeah.
DID?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think I can include. I can't really. I don't think I can include bipolar. I think that's tricky. That's almost a.
Well, so
Mm.
yes, that's where things get a little complicated. What mental illnesses would you allow to still have firearms? And this is the hard part.
Is this where we say depression's okay? It depends on the type.
Uh, well, I don't know. This is the problem with trying to push a legislation based on a broad, I mean, very very broad umbrella term like under mental health. I
Yeah.
mean, you have veterans who come home with PTSD, um, who already don't seek medical treatment, and you're going to tell them that, oh, if you do seek medical treatment and mental health counseling, we're going to strip you of your rights.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're definitely not going to have anybody go there. Are you going to allow people with ADHD to have a gun? I mean, that's still technically a mental illness. You still are medicated for it. Is that an acceptable mental illness? And this is where I think that many of these policies are not fully thought out. I think they used, a buzzword, and
Oh, it's politics. Of course, it's a buzzword.
oh yeah. But the implication of trying to expand mental health as a way to limit firearms.
Yeah.
Well, this opens up a huge can of worms that I don't think that anybody's really thought out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh, but yeah, that was one of my random thoughts because I noticed that has been that's been trending on both on Democrat and Republican sides. They keep talking about this, but none of them have ever explained this theory of what mental health entails.
Yeah, it's because they want to use the bigger word, the generalized word, because they're not. That tells me that. Okay, so this is gonna sound a bit obvious, but by using that kind of language, it makes it seem like they want to do something. But it is corporate America; they're not going to do anything. Some states might introduce more restrictions or more laws that, restrict guns in that state. But federally, I don't see him doing anything because he knows damn well it gets shot down.
I agree.
Oh, and just to add, I bothered because I wanted to see what Montana's were like. They've got arguably some of the most relaxed laws ever.
Well, they have a much more open population.
They do.
So less than.
Like the only places you can't carry any weapons would be in a school building, and in a state or local government building without a permit, because you have to have a permit for that, but not a permit anywhere else for concealed carry. Yeah, the background checks required for private sales. No, they've got ridiculously relaxed laws.
Yes, and in that case, that's where you have people who actually could argue that there is some validity to some arguments there.
Yeah, you've got
talking about background checks between private sale.
Yeah, you got Vermont has got pretty relaxed laws, hasn't it?
Yes, and that one's actually in the Northeast, so that's an interesting case.
Good luck with them trying to push that one through as more restrictive. They've got pretty good. Their crime stats are pretty low.
Well, see that they have tried in the past. politicians pushing for gun control regulation
Yeah.
have tried in the past correlating the amount of guns that are held by any such individual with the with the proponents or the amount of gun crime. More gun mean more shoot, right? No. They have never been able to really create a firm instance because somebody can always go, what about this place? What about this place? And unfortunately, that creates a very difficult thing for them to maneuver.
Well, it gets compounded by any areas that then implement a Second Amendment sanctuary resolution.
Yes, also true.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Now I'm just looking at it. That's very clever.
Unfortunately, with the Second Amendment sanctuary thing, this only works if they are able to hold on to any kind of states' rights. So if they were to federalize any of these gun control regulations, which they are trying to do, the individual states would not have the ability, or they would have to collectively, as that state, basically say, "Nah, fuck off. I don't care what you have to say. We're gonna do it anyway." Much like the illegal alien sanctuaries, like the ICE sanctuary states that they're doing, kind of like that.
Okay.
So we would have to see the actual results of what that would entail.
Just because I'm looking at this, I've got a thing. Excuse me. Map of your country, and you've got in blue state level, blue, purple state and state level, blue, purple state county level, state and county level, green county level. Thing is, there's a fair chunk of the biggest states that are all blue, essentially, but some of the ones that are green are all green except for like 1 or 2 counties, and I bet they're the cities. I bet they are.
Oh, most likely.
And the ones that I see that are mostly, colorless, they're state. I mean, except for Florida, most of them are blue states. That's obvious from the picture. I know what these states are.
Yes.
I know where some of them are anyway. But yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
The thing is like it's a national culture with guns, but also it's very much a state culture.
Yeah.
There are certain states that have a much more let's just use farming states, for instance. Their usage of firearms is a vastly different kind of usage than somebody would in a metropolitan area.
Well, it's certainly, if you're doing a farm, you're not really fighting Crips and Bloods, are you?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, if they rock up, oh my god, the farmers are winning. I'm sorry.
But yes, that is one of the instances where you would look at something like that and go, okay, well, they have a valid reason to want to have firearms. They have, let's just say they need to they need to keep the wolves from attacking their sheep, or they need to keep things from the wild hogs from coming in and destroying all their crops.
Absolutely, and
these are all valid.
Of course, that becomes a great dinner. I just want to add, by the way, if Crips and Bloods did decide to have a go with a farmer does a very different version of a drive-by. It involves a combine harvester and you becoming some form of fertilizer.
Mulching. Yeah. That's what we do to pedophiles.
I like that.
Yes, I don't think there's any person in this world who would be like, no, that sounds wrong.
I'm going nonce hunting. What's he going to do with them? I'm going to turn them into cow pats. I'm going to muck the fields with them. Oh, yes.
Yes, good.
Get my bloodhounds. Get my bloodhounds and my horse. It's fox hunting. Sorry, nonce hunting season. Oh yeah.
See, that's the most British version of it. I just imagine everybody Oh, cheerio, we're going to go with the hounds. We're going to have a sporting day.
Everyone turns up in their deerstalker hats and their fucking horses. Yes. Oh, someone get my blunderbuss. Yes, it's going to be a rip-roaring, jolly good time. Spiffing. Oh. Get my pipe. Yes. For you guys, it's chewing. For you guys, it's chewing tobacco. I assume in a spittoon.
Oh yeah, for us to be like, we gonna find them cats out in the woods, so we gonna make them squeal like a piggy.
Squeal like a piggy. Oh, and mulch for Papa Nurgle's garden. Yes, quite. Yes.
Yeah, quite. Yes.
You seem to have, you have the drawl down nicely. You have that down nice. I like that.
Thank you. I have many accents in my repertoire.
I like it.
So, guns is still a very hot topic. We will see what they do with it. Right now, everyone is basically saying, nah, fuck off. Except for the bleeding hearts who have lived in a city for most of their adult life.
Pussies, gotcha.
Basically. So we will have to see where that goes.
It's a strange one because I don't think Biden's going to do anything. He knows not to. He's got midterms coming up. He has to use buzzwords and step back. Unless he thinks he can somehow win the largest turnout in history for midterms, which I don't see happening. It's not. No, he needs to play. He has to now think of the midterms only. This is obviously unfortunately timed. He has enough problems right now to try and win those, so he can get his policies through. Which, I'll be honest, he's gonna have to work his backside off to get, the support. It's not gonna work either because he hasn't got the energy for it. So I don't see him turning this around at all. But you never know. I could be wrong. If I am wrong, of course, I will, of course, admit it. Maybe.
Yes, of course.
Maybe not.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so your country's banning guns, gotcha.
Yeah, something like that.
He does that, he won't be voted in again. You know damn well he won't be.
Oh, no, of course not.
There are blue states who don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on.
All right. So what do you have?
Okay, so let's see. Last week we spoke about how Boris has changed ministerial code, and this was to find a way so that he wouldn't have to then call on ministers, and himself included, to resign from office if they breached the ministerial code. Essentially have another chance thing, but also know that, if you cock up, it's fine, you don't lose your job thing.
Right.
Labour have called this a watering down of democracy and have been pushing, first of all, to call Boris a tin pot despot, which is accurate, but they believe this cements his trampling over democracy and long-standing principles, because the code is it now just it's nebulous, all right, it's vague. The way the government are trying to do this is that that the current policy would be disproportionate to require ministers' resignations for any breach, however minor. Now, the minor part is quite important really, because they now say that instead sanctions like an apology, remedial action, removal of salary for a period is a suitable way forward. The thing is, Boris breached code, and I haven't seen him be given remedial action or lose his salary. He has issued an apology, but his apology wasn't to say sorry for what he did, only to say sorry, here's the context. Not that the context was actually that good to begin with. So I'm now explaining why I'm having to apologize. It's akin to someone saying, I'm only pleading guilty because I was caught. Or, I don't agree with being guilty, but I'm going to plead guilty because it makes it easier on me. Which is the Baked Alaska method.
Yes, quite.
I think that so many people think this is a way because he has misled the House. That's what he did. He lied to Parliament and misled them. Whether intentional or not, he has done that. And that is a severe breach of the that's a severe breach of the ministerial code. And I think that, as far as this goes, that is a resignation-worthy offence. I'm sorry, he did break the rules. He should be gone. Straight up, he should be gone. But there he is, still there. And Labour have been trying to push for a vote of... Oh, excuse me. First of all, an adjustment to the those rules to get rid of that, get rid of those changes. And second, they want a vote of no confidence. Now, Labour obviously do want it anyway because Boris, he's been in office for 3 years. In that time, he has broken ministerial code on multiple occasions. He has, and that can go back to when he introduced parliamentary recess, which was found to be, a little bit naughty. Yes, because he did it solely so he could push through Brexit. Now, of course, when Brexit was going on, I wanted Brexit done. I really did. So I get why it was a bad thing, but he needed to get it done. And he kept losing votes in Parliament. So he thought, oh, I'll just break the rules then, because I'm Boris fucking Johnson. I can do whatever I want. He has broken it on multiple occasions since, and he's still there. But this is a guy who's constantly given a one morsey, and he is taking the literal piss out of everyone. Because he's not stopping with his one morseys. He's just continually abusing the system. And I love Boris, he's funny, but fuck me, man. He's got 2 more years, and if he doesn't turn this shit around, he'll be like Biden, out of work in 2 years' time, unless he breaks some kind of world record for voter turnout, conveniently. Mm-hmm. Which isn't happening, because the very people Boris got voted in by, which was those who are normally Labour voters, are going to go back to the world's most boring opposition, because at least then they feel that their vote matters, as opposed to Boris, who's like, yo, you voted me in, I got Brexit done, but now I'm going to make it so you guys can't afford to live. Which is what he's doing. And he's also pushing something silly. So he's also trying to get the imperial measures brought back in for food. You know, pounds and ounces, basically. Mm-hmm. Which many supermarkets are like, fuck you. That'll just push up the cost of living even further, which is kind of what Boris likes to do. He's kind of that guy. You know, I don't think he cares, because he's backed by millionaires, and he himself could easily just be an editor for a newspaper, which are dying formats anyway, and make hundreds of thousands anyway. He doesn't really give a shit. And I think that's a damning statement, really, because Conservatives had to make a U-turn last week, didn't they, on the cost of living? My sister found out she'll get about, I don't know, she get £400-500. She's very happy with that, but at the same time, she's like, yeah, but I wouldn't need this money. Then fuck this up. I don't know. That's all.
I mean, it's kind of a global fuck up thing. So
it is, yeah.
There have been a lot of people who have been asserting that the inflation cost that we are seeing here in the States is directly an impact based on Biden's Build Back Better plan and the stimulus thing. And while part of that is true,
I thought it was the Russia thing, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of it is true, but that doesn't impact necessarily Japan or Germany or Italy and their inflation costs. They didn't pass that bill. We did.
Yep.
So why are they also having the same inflationary problems? Well, because presumably the relation between the supply chain and inflation costs is also not one to necessarily scoff at. It seems to be rather significant, in fact. Because I don't know how you guys do, since you guys are kind of in a really unfortunate location to get access to, we're just going to say, Chinese goods. Mm-hmm. Because realistically, that's what people were buying. Because you guys are in the Atlantic, but like flanked on either side by massive land masses, you've got a bit of a struggle to figure out how you want to to go about getting something from, let's say, China to your shores. I don't know if you guys necessarily have trains and then boats that can take it to you guys, but that's an option, I suppose.
I mean, it's an option. I do
Many
think
options, many doors, Ed boy.
with Europe, I think the issue is a lot of them are very heavily reliant on Russia for gas. That much is well known. And they themselves, some of the EU nations, have been very anti not relying on Russia for gas. And I think Italy is one of those countries for obvious reasons. They're very anti, not leaning on Russia, and so going independent with their own sort of energy supplies and stuff. And I think that shows a little wavering in EU itself, because if they can't keep that in mind, eventually they themselves, their own sanctions against Russia will fall apart. And that much will be that will help Russia greatly. Of course it will. And UK take a very different tact, where this is an unacceptable situation to be in. It's just the Conservatives' handling of it is really bad. But we're willing to stay the course. It's just they need to actually help the people for a change, as opposed to helping themselves. I obviously the obvious when people think about this, they think the Conservatives are only not doing more because it doesn't benefit them as much, which makes a little sense in the short term, not in the long term if they want to be re-elected.
Now, I hear you saying the things about Conservatives, but what is the other side presenting as an option?
Borrow more money, put the country further in debt.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Labour Democrats.
Yeah. I needed to bring it up because I was like,
our colours the other way round. Your Republicans are red, our Labour are red. Conservatives are blue, Democrats are blue, but our Conservatives are your Republicans. Well, they're meant to be, but they're bloody well not.
Oh, right.
Ours are just stupid.
Well, aren't they though? Aren't they though?
I don't know.
Now, somebody did appropriately mention earlier when you were talking about Boris and how he had broken lockdown protocols. So did Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer, he's so Beergate, as it's called, is causing a bit of a thing, because Keir Starmer has said in Parliament, I heard it myself, if I am found to have broken lockdown rules, I will resign. He said that. I don't believe he broke the rules. I really don't. Everything he has said followed the rules. Very limited gathering. It wasn't a party. It wasn't a vast number of people. It was very small actually, and it was one beer. It wasn't what Boris had, where it was essentially a party in his garden where he happened to just rock up for a bit.
Now, does the scale matter if the limitation is
I don't know.
There are to be no X, Y, or Z?
So this is where it gets a bit murky, because when it comes to, especially in politics, everyone knows this, the moment you are seen doing something that could be tangibly made to look the same, it doesn't matter. You are going to be tarred with the same brush. And I think the way that Keir Starmer pwns Boris, then, even if he's not found, he should just resign anyway and say, well, I've done it. Why haven't you, Boris? At least I've got the integrity to do this. I don't think he should, by the way, because I don't think he broke the rules. But if Keir Starmer did actually resign, Boris would be in a position here, because he can't just say, I didn't break the rules there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. Oh, because then it makes it look like the rules don't matter to him. And that's the...
Right.
But as Chaos has written, there are ways they're similar and ways they are very different. In this context, you are right. That's exactly how it is. And I don't believe that Keir broke the rules. And I'm not saying because I like him. I really don't. It just does not line up with someone who broke the rules. As opposed to Boris, who broke the rules and then lied to Parliament about it and only said sorry, but only because he got told to. Not because he felt he'd done anything wrong. He was sorry for what the report said. Do you remember that? Oh, I'm sorry, but only because the report said I'd done wrong. Okay, thanks, Boris. Well done. Bravo. Twat.
Well, the reason I even bring up that difference is because there are valid concerns about. So if you're going to make these rules, right, regardless of how the rules actually, work, you said this,
Yeah.
and you are expecting people to follow that.
Yes.
Okay. If you start making the, as Chaos pointed out, the but also, then you're going to have a bit of a problem when suddenly these complications get even more so complicated, and you have different rules for different folks. So what is it then that were the actual rules? Because if we're going to presume that these rules actually matter, well, then we have to actually pretend that they matter. So I guess if Boris broke a rule, but it's a rule that everybody broke.
Joe says here, Boris was like a kid who had been forced. He's like my nephew. Whenever you tell him to apologise, he looks at the ground and he'll stand there looking at the ground for about 10 minutes. And then you have to remind him that if he doesn't apologise, he then gets put on timeout or something. And Boris then no, I'm sorry. But he won't look at you. He'll look down the whole time. It's that nonsense. And no, my nephew's not called Boris. Don't try me. Oh, I don't think any kid should be called that. That's a horrible name. Unless it's called Boris the Animal. Men in Black 3. I like that.
But yeah, so I just wanted to ask that question because I think it was a valid question.
It's a valid question.
Yes, quite. All right. So what else has even been going on?
The only thing I saw, because it's all been Jubilee stuff over here, the only thing I saw was that you had footage of UFC welterweight Khamzat Chimaev, who is he was born in Chechnya, born in the Chechen Republic, I believe. He sparred with the Chechen warlord Ramzan Kadyrov, and it's embarrassing really because obviously Chechnya is known for its hardened warriors, dickheads basically. But in this, he's clear that I feel bad for Khamzat because the guy is a incredibly talented welterweight, but there he is getting beaten up by the leader of Chechnya because if he doesn't, he'll probably get killed. You know that thing of you get to wrestle your world leader, but your world leader's a dictator. Sorry, dictator. And so you got to let him kick. You got to let him kick your head in. Kadyrov's only like 45, but the guy is not. He is not. He's a leader. He's not. Fuck off with him.
Not a fighter.
No, he's clearly not. He made to look like one, but he stands too rigid. When he got what's his name? What's his name? Chimaev. Yeah. He got him in a headlock and tried to choke him out. The guy wasn't trying to beat his own country leader because he knows his brother and sister and his family would be murdered if he had. That's the only thing I've seen, by the way. That's all going on. What do you think about this? Like world leaders wrestling like actual fighters,
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely fucking. Okay, so it makes me think back to the Chinese UFC boxer, the mixed martial artist, the one who basically, I believe his street name was Mad Dog. I believe his Xiao Dong, I think his name was.
Yeah.
He was one of those people who challenged all the kung fu masters to prove their craft in combat, and after a certain point, this guy ended up getting his social credit basically straight up tanked. He couldn't take the train. At one point, he couldn't even take the train to a fight that he was supposed to show up at. I think he did actually end up making it there through some very backdoor ways, but he did do it.
Yeah.
And I just imagine what the equivalent of like Xi Jinping sparring this man
Mm-hmm.
would mean. Well, for the country it would mean one thing in particular, but it reminds me of that, and then I imagine Gladiator, the movie with Russell Crowe, when Maximus fights the Emperor, but right before they go out to fight, they fucking poison him. Right? So of course he doesn't fight as good as he could have because you fucked it.
I just want to be able to. I just want to be able to spear Boris Johnson without getting tackled by police officers and having to embarrass them as well. That's all I want to do. Just spear him, like a full-on gore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never been quite a fan of the spear.
Well, no, Rhino's gore looks more brutal. He looks like he split him in half. Quite frankly,
there's a couple of interesting spears I've seen over the years where like these people literally leap off the ground.
Yeah,
and
that's what Rhino does.
Just like just collapse in on themselves.
Yeah, you got like Goldberg's, which is pathetic. You got Roman Reigns is embarrassing. You got Edge's that is embarrassing as well. It's just a shit spear. You're knocking the wind out. Congratulations. How about instead of making it look like you've been knocked out cold, which is not how a spear works, you do it how Rhino does it, and he fully takes you out.
Right, exactly.
It's just better. Can I just do that to Boris? That'd be great.
I mean, you can. Don't recommend it, but yeah.
I just want that. I don't think we're asking too much here in the United Kingdom. Just a little spear action. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so fun story. So we did talk a little bit about Johnny Depp, but there is a new trial that's going to be coming up that is going to draw the attention of at least the Americans, I think.
Who's that?
So we have the January 6th committee. That's a thing that exists.
A what?
Yes, a committee that was formed by the House of Representatives to investigate the insurrection.
Oh.
Well, since their inception, they have been hard at work gathering evidence, getting witness testimony, gathering documents, subpoenaing different senators and individuals, trying to find out all the information that they could about this stuff. Well, that trial is set to start, I believe, late June. And they're going to start kind of like how the impeachment hearings went.
Right.
It's going to start like that. All over again.
I think the problem... so I obviously... I can't make videos on my main channel because that is such a... it's such a ball ache of a conversation, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's not even... I don't even consider it controversial, but it is up... It's up there with people on Twitter. So, you might have seen this, actually. It's not the same thing.
Oh, maybe.
It's Pride Month, I believe, at the moment, is it not?
It is.
And a lot of people have been...
Happy gay.
Sure. A lot of people have been on Twitter, very anti, and then they pick their respective letter that they're not a fan of. Some citing their faith. I believe a member of FaZe Clan said that. It's against his religion to support the LGBT, all the other letters, our community. That was interesting because he deleted the tweet, pussy. But many people have been pouncing on it, and they're not a fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how.
So was he just like not into like the L of the LGBT or whatever?
No, his tweet actually said, "I do not support LGBTQ. It is against my faith."
Oh well, I mean, he's straight up. He's with you. I mean, I had this argument with somebody, and they. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna pull this shit up because it was a conversation about like Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A is like a terrible fucking thing for gays or whatever, right?
Right.
Well, apparently, um, okay, here it is. Hey, Chick-fil-A, I made you something for upcoming Pride Month, and it's a Chick-fil-A logo. Um, and it says Chick-fil-A wants me dead. Well, I commented, Chick-fil-A does not know you nor care about you.
Yeah. Well, the
Um,
reason I mention it is because it's another one of those subjects where I can't really talk about it because of how ridiculously polarizing people are. I remember years ago saying I couldn't care less about Pride Month. I just
mhm.
don't care. I'm not involved. I'm not a member of it. I don't care. You do your thing. Sure, go nuts. As long as you're not indoctrinating kids, we're golden. And then people started doing it. And I was like, right, well, we need to have a little conversation about that. But beyond that, I just don't really give a shit, you know? And it's the
Well,
same thing with this insurrection, as it's been dubbed, because
right.
we can't get away with that. We end up just getting absolutely bombed with comments.
Oh yes, the comments. Good
It,
times.
it's just aggravating, I think.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. The complicated part with the January 6th committee thing is
Mm-hmm.
that they've subpoenaed several people, and it's made up of the committee itself is made up with basically Democrat sympathizing Republicans like Adam Kinzinger and I forget the other. There's another Republican on the January 6th committee, but they're similar.
Okay.
Um, and basically, when the minority leader had requested like Jim Jordan to be on that committee,
Jim
they
Jordan.
yes,
I remember him.
they said no fucking way, uh, and yeah, put up their own people. So a lot of the Republicans who are being subpoenaed saying are saying like this is an invalid committee. This committee is basically full of bullshit and all that, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it?
I think so.
Is it really?
Honestly,
Is it bipartisan?
I mean, objectively, yes, there are R's and D's, but not when you talk about the beliefs of the individuals.
Okay.
So the beliefs of the different individuals on that committee would say no. These are not. This is not um, a a fair or balanced committee by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
But today they had arrested Peter Navarro, who was an advisor to President Trump,
Why?
because he refused to comply with subpoenas.
That's fair if he doesn't want to.
Well, the thing is, subpoenas are supposed to be binding. They are something that the law has provided you. Basically, it's a court order that you must appear, right?
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Well, nobody wants to do that because they believe that this is a kangaroo court.
Yeah, it's loaded and intended to just show only one aspect.
Basically.
Okay.
So that's what we're looking at for the future of this case is we're going to see basically remember how fucked the impeachment trial was?
Which one?
Any of them?
Yes, I remember.
We're going to see some of that. And it's going to look like shit, I think. I think it's going to look like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
We will have to see how that plays out because I'm expecting that we're going to see more than just fabricated evidence, but we are going to see the biggest reaches
Right.
that we would have ever seen.
Well, we saw it during the during either impeachment, really, because it was all staged away. It was always going to be that way.
Mm.
It not helped by the fact that apparently the party that had won and was in office couldn't be united. They were like, "Oh, we won, but you know, let's just have you in charge again. It's easy for us to chase you."
Yes. Well, we're gonna see basically a giant kangaroo court, and of course the people who are reporting on this the most, the people who are clutching their pearls, is MSNBC. And of course, the reason why they're doing this, by the way, is they want to fault as many Republicans as possible to taint their midterm possibilities,
Oh,
as well as try and prevent Donald Trump for running for office.
they're not going to be able to stop that. If he decides to run, it's sorry, but you're not stopping him.
Legally speaking, they can if he is found guilty of some sort of federal crime.
Oh, they have to do that first, and they haven't got much time to do
Right.
it.
Correct. And also because of the complications with that law in particular.
Yeah.
So presidents, as well as many elected officials, have this thing where they have executive privilege, and also they have a ability. I think we talked about it here before, where they can essentially not be tried in a court while while performing the duties that they would ordinarily perform.
Okay.
So things like a police officer, for instance, cannot be found criminally negligent, or he can be criminally liable while in the furtherance of his duties.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Okay.
So they have revoked a lot of executive privilege already for the individuals who are that are trying to be tried in this case. Because if they can revoke the executive privilege surrounding Donald Trump, then they can actually try him without that privilege and actually find him guilty of a felony, thus removing his ability to run for office.
Well, that's embarrassing for those Republicans because he's their best chance for another 4 years. No offense intended, but I don't think
they're not real Republicans anyway.
No?
No.
Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it?
Well, Kinzinger is basically a Democrat. Kind of like how there are Democrats in like I wouldn't say Manchin is a Republican, but he's more middle of the road than the other ones are.
Right.
So at least there's that. But in terms of like the actual things that the Republicans are trying to assert here, most actual Republicans are saying, "Nah, this is bullshit and a waste of time. Fuck off."
Yeah.
And so we will end up seeing how that works out in the end. Because at the moment, it's not doing anything.
No?
No.
Can't imagine why.
Not right now.
Well, at least we have something to look forward to.
Yeah, we do. I hate it, but yeah.
It should make this a rather interesting future for us. We have reached the end of this stream. We've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. So we are going to vanish now. If Trups is here next week, we'll be back on Friday.
I will have to get back to you on that. I have an event, but I'm not sure if I'm going to attend at this time.
All right. Is anything? Well, Trups, your Twitch link has been put in the chat. Everyone just go follow him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leona, for posting that. We appreciate it. This will be on Spotify tomorrow. I will also upload last week's today because I forgot. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll speak to you soon. So say good night,
bye-bye.
Trups.
Good night, Trups.